I like to say two things.
How to get you in trouble is one of them.
See, I told you.
Amen. We're going to have Mario come to the podium. She wanted something. We're going to have Mario come to the podium. Thank you, Mario.
You're welcome. Thank you.
Mario is one of my classmates. We attend mortuary school together.
Good choice, team now. Yeah, good choice.
Everybody give themselves a round of applause for coming out tonight.
Oh, yeah.
I always start off with a prayer. I'm going to start off with Matthew 6, 9 through the 13th verse, which is the Lord's Prayer. Amen. Which is, Our Father, which art in heaven, hallowed be thy name. Thy kingdom come. Thy will be done. In earth. As it is in heaven. Give us this day. Our daily bread. And forgive us our debts. As we forgive our debtors. And lead us not into temptation. But deliver us from evil. For thine is the kingdom. And the power. And the glory. Forever. Amen. Good evening once again. I am Mario Williams, standing in the footsteps of my mentor, Dr. Arthur George Gaston. Start somewhere. Mr. Gaston believed that anyone could be successful if they just start somewhere with a plan and determination. It's an honor to be here presenting the eulogy of a black historic multi-millionaire businessman during the 40s, 50s, and 60s, Dr. Arthur George Gaston, on this day of January 20th, 1996. I am redoing his eulogy. It's never easy to say goodbye to someone who has been part of our lives. When that person is gone, there's a hole where that person used to be. And that is what many of us are feeling today in our life, trying to fill that void. Some of you knew Dr. Gaston better than others. Some of you didn't know him at all. But you're all here because he had an impact on your life, knowingly and unknowingly. And you all want to honor that today. And because he did that, you in some way are and will be paying respect to Arthur George Gaston, and it is hard to say goodbye. At such a difficult time, it is important to remember the good memories and the bad memories we all had of Dr. Gaston. By holding on to these memories, we can focus on the good times that we all had together and help each other find comfort in this difficult time. Dr. Gaston was business-minded at a young age. His first business was charging admission for tree rides in his backyard for the price of a button or pen. He continued his business interests after being discharged from the military, World War I in 1919. He started selling lunches to other coal miners where he eventually started working, then started giving loans for profit. Next, he established a semi-business bank, business college, motels, and real estate, etc. Start somewhere, he did, and with an estimate of $30 to $40 million while steady climbing the economic ladder, becoming a multimillionaire in the middle of the 20th century. Next, adding the Citizens Federal Bank. Yes, it was a bank that he owned. Gaston's wealth and influence eventually bore comparison to J.P. Morgan and Andrew Carnegie. Dr. Gaston started his own burial society offering pre-funded funerals, guaranteeing members a respectable funeral upon death. His funeral home and insurance company were founded in the 1920s. He was also in all ways trying to fill social needs. The funeral home establishment is still up and running today, which is the Smith & Gaston Funeral Home. At one time having over 13 branches across Alabama. Funny thing, Dr. Gaston and Dr. King had their differences pertaining to the non-rights, civil rights movement. They had various strategies. Gaston always felt if someone hit him, he had to hit him back. But he continued to bail Dr. King and other civil rights protesters out of jail, in addition to providing shelter for the cause. At one time paying up to $160,000 for their bill. For the most part, Dr. Gaston believed in being conservative with quiet negotiations deal makings, and private threats. For instance, prior to establishing his own savings and loan bank in Birmingham, he would go to local banks and threaten to remove his millions of dollars if the segregated water fountain signs were not removed from the lobby. More than anything else, Dr. Gaston believed in economic achievement and education similar to his inspired leader, Booker T. Washington. Dr. Gaston held honorary degrees from 6 institutions of higher learning, including one from Liberia, West Africa. He was also the national treasurer of the AME Church in Oxford, England in 1951. Dr. Gaston was an influential supporter in founding programs. He was very sympathetic to the cause of people and generous with his financial support. He was the president of the A.G. Gaston's Boys and Girls Club in Birmingham, while being on the board of the Boys in America, Jefferson County United Appeal, Jefferson County Mental Health Association, the National Business League, a YMCA supported, as well as founding programs for youth, in addition to the NAACP Legal Fund, just to name a few. It's hard to say goodbye to someone who had a big impact on our lives. It's always hard to lose someone you know or that's close to your heart. To let go of that particular individual and move on. With the Smith and Gaston Funeral Home still operating today, the truth is already told that hard work and dedication will last. If we keep these good memories in our hearts and minds, we can find comfort, and Dr. Gaston will always be in each and every one of us. Just by being here today in a diverse society with various age ranges, Dr. Gaston had an impact on you in the same way he had on me by breaking various barriers across America. It's comforting to know that he touched other people's lives in the same way that he touched mine. That's how I'll always remember Dr. Gaston, AKA the Black Tiger. Thank you.